Watch this. A message lands in Telegram. Fix the bug we were chasing on Friday. Nobody opens an editor. An agent running on a server you never logged into wakes up, searches last week's conversation, finds exactly where you left off, and gets back to work. It remembered. That agent is Hermes, and it is nothing like the coding tools you have seen. So let's be precise about what Hermes actually is. It is not a Copilot bolted into your editor. It is not a chatbot wrapped around one API. It is an autonomous agent, a process that runs continuously on hardware you own, a $5 server, a cloud box, a spare machine, and it gets more capable the longer it stays alive. Here is the one thing that makes it different from everything else: a built-in learning loop. It does a task, then writes down what worked as a reusable skill. It sharpens that skill the next time it runs. It saves what it learned to memory, and it slowly builds a model of who you are. Most agents forget. This one compounds, and that memory is real. You can open it. Every session you have ever run is stored in a local database with full-text search. Ask it to pick up Friday's bug, and it literally searches Friday's transcript and pulls the relevant turns back into context. It is plain Markdown on your disk, readable, editable, and the same memory follows you across every project. And the skills are not preloaded. The agent writes them itself. Solve a deploy once and it saves a step-by-step skill, so the next deploy is one move instead of 10. Run it again and it refines that skill. They follow an open standard, so a skill you write is portable, shareable, and downloadable from a community hub, and it does not live on your laptop. Hermes can run its work in 6 different backends: local, Docker, an SSH box, or serverless platforms like Modal and Daytona, where the environment hibernates the moment it goes idle and costs you almost nothing. Close your laptop, walk away. The agent is still on its server, still working. Then it meets you where you already are. One gateway connects to over 20 platforms: Telegram, Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, Signal, email, even plain text messages. Message it from your phone on the train, it does the work on a cloud machine, and the answer comes back in the same chat. There is even a real-time voice mode. Underneath, it is genuinely capable. Over 70 built-in tools, grouped into toolsets it switches between: a real terminal, a full browser it can drive, web search, a code sandbox, vision, image generation, text-to-speech. Watch them light up as it works. It is not just chatting, it is running commands and reading pages like a person would, and it is not married to any one model. Hermes is provider agnostic. Point it at News Portal, Open Router, OpenAI, Anthropic's Claude, or a local model running on your own GPU. Switch the brain with one command, mid-conversation, or route different jobs to different models. The agent stays the same, only the engine changes. Which brings us to the comparison everyone asks for. How does this stack up against Claude Code? Claude Code is Anthropic's official coding agent. It lives in your terminal, your editor, a desktop app, and the browser. And when it comes to grinding through a real codebase, it is genuinely best in class. But here is the thing most comparisons get wrong. These two are not even the same kind of tool. Claude Code is built around a session. You open it, you code, you close it, and the context is mostly gone. Hermes is built around a daemon that never closes. Put them side by side and the differences get sharp. Start with memory. Claude Code remembers a project through files inside that project, and newer versions can write those notes automatically, which is a real step up. But it stays per project. What it learns in one repo does not follow you to the next. Hermes keeps one memory across everything you do, and it compounds for months. Scheduling is a bigger gap. Claude Code can run timed tasks, but only while its desktop app is open, or up in Anthropic's cloud, where your data leaves your machine and the minimum is an hour. Hermes runs a headless cron on your own hardware. No app open, no cloud, no minimum interval. It can fire at 3 in the morning while your laptop is off. Reach is similar. Claude Code's messaging is still a preview. Telegram, Discord, iMessage. Hermes treats messaging as the main event. 15 plus platforms in production, Slack and WhatsApp included. For an agent whose whole point is to be always on and reachable, that difference actually matters. Then there is the model question. Every inference in Claude Code runs on a Claude model. Excellent models, but one vendor. If the price changes, or something better ships next month, you are still on Claude. Hermes lets you swap freely, hedge your bets, or keep sensitive work on a local model that never phones home, and one is open, one is not. Claude Code is closed, shipped as Minified code. Hermes is fully open source under the MIT license, the entire codebase, backed by around 25,000 tests. You can read exactly what it does, change it, and host the whole thing yourself. For some teams, that is non-negotiable. Now, in fairness, Claude Code wins real points. Its coding depth and editor integration are best in class. It has a 26 event hook system for tight, deterministic control. It has an installable plugin marketplace and a native loop command for long tasks. If your day is mostly heads down coding, it is genuinely hard to beat. But here is the insight that reframes the whole debate. These tools are not enemies. They are complementary. Hermes can spawn Claude Code as a sub-agent. You tell Hermes to handle a big refactor, it delegates the heavy coding to Claude Code, then folds the result and what it learned back into its own memory. One orchestrates, the other executes. So the real power move, if you live in code, is to run both. Hermes sits in front as the always-on brain, taking your messages, remembering everything, running your schedule. When a job needs serious coding muscle, it hands off to Claude Code, waits, and absorbs the outcome. You are not picking a side, you are stacking them. Let's look under the hood because the design is clean. Every surface, the command line, the messaging gateway, the editor adapter, the API, funnels into one agent core. That core builds the prompt, picks the provider, calls the model, runs whatever tools it needs, and writes the whole conversation to that searchable database. One brain, many doors. Those scheduled jobs are first-class agents, not dumb scripts. A job wakes at 7, spins up a fresh agent with the skills you attached, runs your prompt, summarizes last night's pull requests, and delivers the digest straight to your Slack before you have had coffee. It ran on your box on its own while you slept. It also scales sideways. Hermes can spin up isolated sub-agents to chase several workstreams at once, research 3 libraries in parallel, then report back. And a feature called Programmatic tool calling lets it collapse a whole multi-step pipeline into a single model call, which is both faster and a lot cheaper. And it plugs into the wider ecosystem instead of walling itself off. It speaks the model context protocol, so any MCP server you already use snaps right in. And through an editor adapter, it can show up as a native agent inside VS Code, Zed, or JetBrains. It connects to the tools you have rather than replacing them. So when is Hermes the better pick? When you want memory that compounds across every project. When you need scheduled jobs that run with your laptop shut. When the agent has to reach you on Slack or WhatsApp. When you refuse to be locked to one model. And when open source you can host yourself is a requirement, not a bonus. And when is Claude Code the better pick? When your work is intense, focused coding, and you want the deepest editor integration there is. When you need those fine-grained hooks for auditable control, when you want the plugin marketplace, and you specifically want Claude's quality on every token. For a heads-down builder at a desk, it shines. And honestly, for a lot of people, the answer is both. Run Hermes as the persistent layer that remembers you and never sleeps, and let Claude Code be the coding specialist it calls in for the hard parts. The combination is more capable than either tool on its own, and nothing stops you from wiring them together today. And this is not a fringe experiment. Hermes has rocketed past 200,000 stars on GitHub. It is MIT licensed, and it is built by Noose Research, the same lab that trains the Hermes models, so it comes from people who actually build models, not just wrap them. By daily usage, it is now the most used open agent there is. Step back and the appeal is simple. For 2 years, the deal was that you rented intelligence, and it forgot you the moment the session ended. Hermes flips both halves of that. It is an agent you own outright, and one that actually remembers, that gets to know your work, and gets better at it week after week. And getting started is almost annoyingly easy. One command in your terminal installs it. One setup step wires up a model and the core tools. Pull it into Telegram, send it a message, and within a few minutes you have a private, always-on agent answering on your phone. From there, you grow it. Be honest about the trade-offs though. You are running a Daemon, so you own the babysitting the cloud would have done for you. It is young, it shipped this year, and on pure coding depth, Claude Code is still ahead. But for memory, for reach, and for owning the whole stack, right now nothing else is even close. So, quickly, what is Hermes? A self-improving server agent that lives on your hardware, remembers across every project, and reaches you anywhere. How does it compare to Claude Code? A different shape entirely, and it can even drive Claude Code for you. When is it the better pick? Whenever persistence, scheduling, reach, or ownership matter more than raw coding depth.